And a very good morning to you. It is Saturday morning, the 15th of January, the year 2022. And this is your friend Angus Buchan with a thought for the day. If we go to the Gospel of Luke, chapter 24, and I'm reading verse 31 and verse 32. Then their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished from their sight. And they said to one another, "Did not your heart burn within us while he talked with us on the road and while he opened the scriptures to us?" That first encounter with the Savior of the world. Oh, let us cherish it. Let us never forget it. It was just like the moment you first fell in love with your wife, with your husband. Never ever lose that memory. Never lose that time. Do not allow the business of this world to rob you. Do not waste precious times because of the mediocre, mundane, and wasteful things that this life has to offer. My good friend, Michael Cassidy, the founder of African Enterprise, told me a story. He said when he was studying at the university, it was either Oxford or Cambridge, I cannot remember. He said the author C.S. Lewis, probably one of the most famous Christian writers of all time, he wrote books like Surprised by Joy, Reflections on the Psalms, The Four Loves, The Business of Heaven, and many others. You know that he said he used to ride past that place where this man was lecturing. He was a tutor. He said he could have gone in and had a cup of tea with him, but he didn't do it. And he regrets that time. I want to tell you, don't miss an opportunity to meet with the living Christ. I remember going to Jerusalem, going to the old city, one of the first times I'd ever been to Israel. And I walked with Jill, my wife, to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. I walked into that huge church. I sat down and all of a sudden I had an encounter. I cannot explain it to you correctly. An encounter with the living Christ. You know, I broke down and I wept. I wept my heart out. I remember my dear wife putting her arms around me, wondering what was wrong with you, Angus. It was like an encounter I had with the man from Galilee, the carpenter's son, Jesus Christ. I will never forget that time. Now, these two men were walking down the road, weren't they? They were on their way to Emmaus, and they had an encounter with Jesus. What about you today? Revelation chapter 3, verse 20 says, Jesus says, "I stand at the door and knock, and if you open the door, I will come in and eat with you and you with me." Now remember, the handle of the door is on the inside. Why don't you do it today? Have an encounter with the living Christ. Have a wonderful day. God bless you and goodbye.